Welcome into Viking Central. Got Austin here with me today. We're going to talk something different. I mean, still involves the Vikings, mostly JJ McCarthy, but we're going to talk about some NFC North quarterbacks here in this episode, just something different. We've been talking a lot about training camp and kind of how everything's been going down there. So just kind of a palate cleanser, clean the air, and then do something a little bit different, a little bit more wide ranged. But Austin, how are we doing?
Doing fantastic. Seeing these videos coming out, getting excited. Like I keep saying, but I mean, JJ McCarthy had a couple good passes I saw today. Worth noting. I think the NFC North is going to be in trouble. We get onto the subject here.
I agree. Seems like some media heads don't agree though. Diana Rossini, Colin Cowherd, I think Bill Simmons got in on it. They're kind of trashing JJ a little bit, but maybe that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, well, that's kind of he just likes to root for USC quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's something like that. He was so high on Sam Darnold, even though he was pretty much dog shit for however many years. And now, then he was talking so about, oh, he fits in this offense so good. I mean, I don't know what JJ has done to kind of earn the hate. I don't think anything. He's a, national championship quarterback out of Michigan. So, if anything, he should kind of be getting talked up a little bit. But hey, we're used to it over here in Minnesota. We never
get the love.
Yeah, we never get the love or the accolades or anything. We'll just kind of hide in the weeds, and I probably think that's how JJ McCarthy likes it as well.
Yeah.
So, before we put our lists out here, Austin, what do you think people are going to think of your list without giving anything away?
People are really gonna. Yeah, I don't think people are gonna like my list at all. No, I think that's just how I honestly feel, though. So I mean, everything's gonna change when the season gets going.
Yeah, and it's this list. It's fluid, like Stephen A. Smith says. It's fluid. It's fluid. It changes by the week. So, yeah, I think my list. I think Vikings fans will be pretty okay with it. But if any any fans from maybe a couple of division rivals see it, they might have some questions or some swear words to throw at me. But that's okay. Again, before we hop into the video, I do want to shout out a couple things here. You see all of our social media links down there: YouTube, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Subscribe to us or follow us all over there. Substack, you can see it scrolling across the bottom. Substack.com/Viking Central, or just get the Substack app and search up Viking Central and subscribe to us there. You see our sponsors up top. That's Badass Wood Art. Use code VC15. I'll show a little clip there to tell you guys more about that. And then Ahmed, you see the link under there as well next to the VC logo. Just use that link and get you some cool gear over there as well. But again, do want to shout out our main sponsor for this video, and that's Badass Wood Art.
This segment of the Viking Central podcast is sponsored by That's Badass Wood Art. They have some really cool pieces in their shop online that speak to gamers, sports fans, or just nostalgic and trendy pieces for your garage, home, or office. Luis at That's Badass Wood Art can even make you something custom if you don't see it in his store. Shoot him a message with an idea, link, or picture of what you want, and Luis can make your dream wood art come true. Check them out now at www.that'sbadasswoodart.com and make sure you use our Viking Central coupon code of VC15 for 15% off at checkout. That's pretty badass.
Again, that's the best way to support us, just supporting our sponsors and also following and subscribing to us on our social media pages. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's very important to us, and we really appreciate all the support. All right, should we show our list here, Austin, real quick, and then we'll kind of break it down a little bit?
All right, let's do that.
All right, perfect. There it is. All right. Initial thoughts, just seeing it right away. We got different lists, and we'll kind of go down again and break it down. But I do notice we both have the fourth quarterback the same. That's the only one we have same. But let's start from the top here, and I'll ask you here real quick, Austin. So you got Jordan Love at the top. What's kind of your main reasoning behind that?
Well, Jordan Love has kind of progressed pretty well throughout his NFL seasons, and I think he's young enough that he's going to continue to progress. And I think that progression with the pieces they've added, I think he's gonna have a pretty good season. And in my opinion, I think that the Packers are going to be our biggest problem going into the season. I think that there's going to be a fall off there in Detroit. Goff is losing his OC, and they're losing their DC as a team. So I just think that I think their offense over there is not going to be as good. Montgomery, question marks coming around him with the injury he had last year. So I think Jared Goff's going to have a tougher time getting going. So that's why I got to have Jordan Love up there.
All great points. All great points. Hard to disagree. And we'll just stay on the topic of Jordan Love. We'll kind of break down your list, and then I'll go over to my list because everyone can already see it, so it's no surprise. So you had Jordan Love at 1. I have Jordan Love at 3. I do feel like he has progressed, but I feel like at the same time he's been a little bit too inconsistent for me. The inaccuracies are kind of scary a little bit in my opinion. And I also put that on, he was pretty injured last year, so maybe that had a lot to do with it. He was pretty banged up all year long. But I just need to see some more growth with his accuracy, especially his deep ball passes, kind of all over the place. And I haven't watched a ton of film on Jordan Love or anything like that, but I feel like the games against the Vikings, it's just been a little sporadic. The second half of the game that I think we were up 28-7 or something like that, and then he kind of just went haywire in the second half and almost pulled a comeback. But just the inconsistencies is what is catching me off guard. I think honestly, even with Caleb Williams, Jordan Love might have the most potential out of all these quarterbacks, and that's saying a lot because Caleb Williams has a lot of potential too. But just the way he can throw the football at a variety of angles, the arm strength. If he can clean up some of his footwork and his accuracy, it's going to be scary. You can just see a lot of Aaron Rodgers in him. Every time I watch him play, just the mannerisms, the way he throws the football, a lot of Aaron Rodgers. So if he does reach a ceiling or even get close to that ceiling, he could be the number one guy. It's just the inconsistency so far for me just push him down the board a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's a fair assessment. And like I said, I'm kind of from going based off of what I'm seeing and what I anticipate going into this year. They're building a lot of they're going to have a lot more chemistry over there. Everyone's gone another year. I think Jordan Love's going to be a lot more comfortable in the offense. I like the ability, the way he can use his feet too. That's kind of why I had Jared Goff at 2. I feel like Jared Goff's kind of more of a statue type guy in the pocket. They're losing their center this season. I fear that. I don't fear. I hope that the Lions fall off, and I think that the Lions fall off, and I think we're going to see a big season out of the Packers.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And you already talked about it a little bit, but you do have Jared Goff at number 2 there. I mean, you kind of mentioned it before, but you still pretty other than the offensive line and just him not be able to maneuver the pocket as much. What do you still really like about Jared Goff?
Well, I mean, he's proven he wins. He wins football games. He's been to the NFC Championship twice with the Lions, and with the Rams, he's even gotten to the Super Bowl. I think he is a guy that just finds a way to win. He is a very accurate quarterback. He works his system very well. He utilizes his play action very well. I think this isn't a gripe on Jared Goff. I think of this as kind of more as a team as a whole that he's going to fall off. And I think that's going to show a little more holes in his game. I think not having the running attack from Montgomery alongside Gibbs is going to give him trouble. They're going to be able to anticipate a little more. And then also losing the offensive mindset of Ben Johnson. That's going to be tough for Jared Goff to go into a new system going into this year as well. So I do think there will be a little fall off.
Yeah, and I could definitely see that. I guess I do have Jared Goff at number 1, and I'm just kind of basing that off of last year. Because when everything goes right for Jared Goff, and we kind of saw this the same, not maybe up to this level, but the same thing with Kirk Cousins. When he has a clean pocket, when he has the play calls going his way, when he's got a run game, they can be really, really good, and they can be really dominant, and they can kind of just pick defenses apart. And Jared Goff has kind of had everything go his way. Like you said, Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell, he just really elevates his quarterback, just the way he talks about his quarterback and everything like that. You could tell Jared Goff is a really confidence. If he's confident, he's playing good. If he's not confident, it's kind of a difference. And then you got a run game, like you said, with Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams. You got targets all over the field and weapons, Sam Laporta. Everything has gone his way, especially the last year or two. And I can kind of see where you're coming from. If some of the things start going sideways, he could slide down this list, pretty far, because we've seen it. he can throw interceptions. He can kind of, put games up in the air just with being reckless with the football. And if it does go that way, like I said, he could be the third ranked quarterback on this list by the end of the season. But based off last year, and if everything goes the way it has been, he's number one on my list. But like we said, this list is fluid. Week 3, week 4, it could be a whole different ordeal. So that's kind of why I have him at number 1.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. He things have gone well his way. If we were to have done a quarterback ranking, in my opinion, at the end of last season, he would have been on top. I'm just trying to anticipate a little what we're going to see going into the season. I think that's the only difference I have there with my number 1, because he did have a better season than Jordan Love. So yep. I like your reasoning there for Jared Goff being at number 1.
For sure. And we do have a Lions fan in the comments. Go Lions all day, every day. One pride to restore the roar. Justin May, the rapper. And then he also said, freak the pack, the Bears and the Vikings, Detroit Lions all day, every day. Lions going all the way. All right, bud. I like the confidence, but hey, the division could be going into. Hello? I muted myself.
There we go. Yeah.
But we've seen that this can go a different direction, because we already talked about the Packers could be towards the top of the division, and if the Vikings, we're going to talk about JJ McCarthy here now. If the Vikings get a quarterback that can really manage the game and take care of the football, we're going to be up there as well. And talking about JJ McCarthy, you do have him third on this list. What do you think of JJ McCarthy? Does he have a chance to climb this list, or what are you kind of expecting from him?
Yeah, I mean, JJ McCarthy, we talk a lot about JJ McCarthy as this is Viking Central, but I mean, I couldn't put him higher in my opinion, just because of lack of experience. We haven't seen anything. I think he's going to have growing pains. I don't expect him to be phenomenal in week 1, 2, and 3. I really expect him to turn it on in that second tier of the season, after you get through all the butterflies, starting your first NFL game and seeing all the defenses, getting through your progressions. I think him and Kevin O'Connell are going to work really well together, and I think he's going to progress quick. But I just have to do this. I have to have him at 3, just because where I think he's going to start the season at, I don't think he's going to be the best quarterback in the division. I think he's going to struggle a little bit, but he has all the intangibles to be the best guy on this list. And who knows, maybe at the end of the year, that's where I have him. I think that's a very good possibility. I think with how good our offense is, he's going to have a very big season. I just don't think it's going to happen right away in the beginning.
Yep. And you really did the fair way of having him at number 3. I was a little bit more homerish on my end. I do have him at number 2, above Jordan Love. And now looking at JJ McCarthy, I kind of told you I have Jared Goff number 1, just basing everything off of last year, but I have JJ McCarthy at number 2, just like with the potential in this offense. And you talked about it a little bit. Kevin O'Connell, 2 really good running backs. Now, Jordan Addison's going to miss the first 3 games. You still got Justin Jefferson. You got TJ Hockenson, as long as they're healthy. Sounds like they're going to be good to go, according to Kevin O'Connell. He just talked to the media here a few minutes ago. But if everything goes as planned, I think he's right up there at the top of the list for NFC North quarterbacks. Just the accuracy over the middle of the field. He can throw those passes. Yes, he needs to work on his layering, get a little bit more touch on the pass a little bit. But he's got a good deep ball. His arm strength is not in like the Vikings community, but just overall, his arm strength is very underrated. Like, everyone thinks he has like a noodle of an arm for some reason, and it's almost the opposite. Dude can sling it. He's kind of got a rocket attached to his body, to be honest with you. And he's going to show it this year too. And you talked about this with Jordan Love a little bit, just for him to be able to escape the pocket, use his legs a little bit, extend plays. He can kind of be a dual threat. I don't know if I want him to be such a dual threat where, he's running all the time, but I think he can just be a really good player in that regard, because he can throw the football down the field. He can make plays more than just stand in the pocket like a Jared Goff. So that's kind of why I have him at number 2, just the potential and where he can be with Kevin O'Connell in this offense.
Yeah, no, I agree. His legs are going to help him out a lot in the beginning. That's kind of what I'm afraid of, though, is that sometimes young quarterbacks rely on their legs a little too much. And I'm hoping, but I'm thinking with Kevin O'Connell being there, he has probably been working with them, and I think he's going to be comfortable in the pocket going into the season.
Yep, fingers crossed. Yeah, just be comfortable in the pocket. If you need to use your legs, but don't escape too early. Don't rely on your legs. Use it as a weapon more than as like an excuse to use your legs. So yeah, I think you hit that on the head. So and we can go down to the bottom of the list here. We both can talk about it because we both got him in the same spot. Caleb Williams, number 4.
Yeah, I mean, he did not have a great rookie campaign. He showed some blips of what I think why he was number 1 overall pick, but he just hasn't had a strong camp from what I'm seeing too. He's having accuracy issues. He's always in the media for just being. I think he's kind of being a distraction a little bit. I think that Caleb Williams is going to be he has all the potential there. I think he's going to be a little bit of a slower progressor, especially going into a new offense. You have a new head coach after last season. He's going to have to relearn everything.
Yep.
I expect him to have a lot of struggles in the beginning and maybe even throughout majority of the season.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like you said, he's got probably the most potential. I think him and Jordan Love maybe have the most potential if they hit their ceilings. And I think JJ McCarthy can be there as well. But just their arm talent kind of just throws it off the screen a little bit, just the way they can throw the football. But I feel like, yeah, he kind of scratched the surface last year, and Matt Eberflus was the coach, so it's hard to like get a true feeling of where he was at. But he's got plenty of weapons along the in the offense. Like he's got receivers he can throw the football to. DJ Moore, Roma Dunze. Now you got Luther Bird, and they got guys that should be able to make plays for him. And last year was just like so erratic. And we talked about this with JJ McCarthy. I feel like he was always escaping the pocket or trying to be a superhero every single play.
Yeah.
And that's not going to work in the NFL like it did at USC. So he's got to clean up a lot of stuff. Again, a new system again for a young quarterback. And Ben Johnson, his scheme, his system, it needs to be tailored a little bit to Caleb Williams. I feel like if he keeps the same system that he had in Detroit and moves it over to Chicago, I don't think it's going to work because Caleb Williams is not, turn around and play action pass. He does not like having his back to the defense. He wants to be in shotgun or pistol or whatever formation he wants to be in. He wants to be able to scan the field before he even makes any decisions. So I feel like if Ben Johnson can do that, kind of, make it the way Caleb wants it, yeah, I think it can be successful. But like you said, it's going to take some time. I mean, it could take, 6, 8, 12 games or even into next year to get where they want to be. And I feel like we really need to take advantage of that week 1 because I think it's going to be a pretty rusty week 1. So I feel like that's a perfect opportunity for us to go in there, kind of unleash our defensive line a little bit and, take advantage of them being not on the, exact same page on week 1.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. That's like you said, I think that's going to be perfect for JJ McCarthy. The Bears is a perfect first opponent for him. What I do like, the Bears did take a play out of the Vikings playbook, and they did revamp their offensive line, kind of like how we did. Yep. So I think Caleb Williams is going to be able to have a lot more time. And like you were saying, he liked to escape a little too early maybe at times. But I think maybe we are actually going to see him progress more as a passer, and he's going to stay in the pocket more than he did in the past. So like you said, high ceiling on this list probably. And I do expect for him to make strides at some point. I just don't think it's going to be right away because of the new system. I think he's going to have to get some work in with Ben Johnson, and I think there's going to be some growing pains right away.
No doubt about it. It's going to be fun. This is a fun group to watch.
Yeah.
Heading into the 2025 season because there's a lot of potential. It's going to be a heck of a competitive division because there's some really good players on all these teams. Just the rosters are really, really good. Probably one of the best, if not the best divisions in the NFL. I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here. Give me like one bold like prediction for like if a quarterback moves up the list or moves down the list. I can give you mine right away. So I feel like my bold prediction, and it's kind of a little wild because I do have Jared Goff at number 1. I feel like he could maybe be number 4 on this list at year's end, and I don't know how realistic that is. But like we talked about, if those 3 young guys can kind of get to their potential, I think they could hop Jared Goff, and with Jared Goff losing his OC, some offensive pieces along the offensive line, he could be slipping down this list while guys are rising the list. What do you think of that prediction?
I like that a lot because I think that goes into a lot of with what I was saying about Jared Goff earlier is I don't expect him to have as much success as he's had in the past. He's going to have to get used to a couple of other things, new offensive coordinator. And I think there's just a lot more talent in the division. It's just a matter of he's more of a smart quarterback rather than like a arm talent. And he just makes the good reads. He does what he's supposed to do. He's just a very smart football player. So with this division of quarterbacks, there's a lot of talent. So I could very well see that. Mine's going to be, I think everyone's going to like what I'm going to say. I think I could see J.J. McCarthy being at the top of this list. I could see him getting the offensive rookie player of the year. I think that's a very realistic expectation, actually. It's not as bold. I don't think it's as bold, but I'm sure if you go outside the Viking community, I'm sure they'll agree that that's a bold statement. But I think JJ has everything that he needs. He has probably the best weapons in the division, in my opinion. He has a great offensive line. He has a great coach. He had a year to sit and actually learn the system. He's very familiar with it. I could see him really breaking in the stride in this season.
Yep, and if that happens, hey, I love it. Austin on YouTube says JJ over J Love is bold. Hey, it is bold. It is bold. I have to admit it. But again, it's just kind of me just thinking about the potential of JJ McCarthy, and Austin just said it too. Like he could be top of the list at year's end with the scheme and with Kevin O'Connell and the weapons on the field. If everyone stays healthy, sky's the limit. I mean, sky's the limit, and I think that's a really cool thing if he does get there, because we've been waiting on it. We've been waiting on a young quarterback for a long time in Minnesota. So we're just crossing our fingers that happens. Do you have another 5 minutes to talk quick, Austin? Maybe we can talk a little bit more about JJ McCarthy.
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna pop this up here. I'm gonna shout out Homage real quick. Just play a real quick snippet for you guys. Just our sponsor. We've been working with them for a little bit. They have some really cool stuff. So here's Homage.
Viking Central is sponsored by Homage. They're a clothing company that has an online store filled with items that feature your favorite sports teams, video games you used to or still play, one-liners from that movie you love to quote, and much more. They are reasonably priced, stylish, and comfortable clothing that will have you coming back for more. Use our Viking Central QR code to shop today and buy a shirt that will have your coworkers and friends reminiscing over fond memories, have a few laughs, and look good while doing it. Homage, where legendary comfort is on deck.
Support those guys over there and support us. You see the link below the Homage logo up there. I think most Viking stuff's 20 to 30% off. So grab your gear before the season starts. All right, awesome. Let's talk a little JJ McCarthy real quick. And I just want to get your thoughts, because like I said, the media has kind of been eating him up a little bit. And I feel like the local media is kind of not up to that level of like criticism or anything like that. There's been some expected like bumps and ups and downs. But what is your thought? Like, has your mindset or your like, your opinion on JJ McCarthy, has that changed at all? Like within the first few weeks of training camp here?
No, it really hasn't. I honestly believe that this national media is literally just putting this out there because they need to have a bold prediction that they can say, oh, look, I was right. And I think it's easy to pick on the guy who was hurt all last year and say, yeah, this guy is not going to be good. He's going to be a boss, all that. I just think it's all clickbait, and they're looking to be like, oh look, my bold prediction was right. I don't think there's any legs to it. I think JJ McCarthy is, from what I've seen, is gonna be our franchise quarterback moving forward.
Yeah, and I'm in that same boat as well, because like, what do you expect? You just expect him to come out like guns a-blazing, throwing touchdowns all over the field, not making any mistakes, and he's probably going up against a top 3, top 5 defense in the National Football League. Like, shouldn't you expect some bumps and bruises along the way, and some ups and downs, and some mistakes? I mean, that's all part of the learning process. And I feel like, yeah, some of these talking heads are kind of like, oh my gosh, like, he hasn't shown that he can throw the football over the field. I don't even know. A lot of it doesn't even make sense to me. He's missing his number 1 wide receiver in Justin Jefferson. TJ Hawkinson didn't play at the night practice, and I don't think he's practicing today. You're still missing Christian Darrisaw. Will Fries hasn't been in there fully. Ryan Kelly wasn't out there on Monday night, going against the defensive line that just has talent galore. So I feel like they're just giving him like an unfair shake. Like, the expectations are way too high at this certain moment. And like, even at like what week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, like, if he's not like throwing for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, like, I'm not going to worry.
No.
As long as he's taking care of the football, managing the offense within those first handful of weeks, I think he's right on track. Now, if he's throwing 2, 3, 4 interceptions, yeah, let's start, worrying a little bit. But he's got a chance to clean that up. I just think it's been, yeah, like you said, I don't know if it's just quiet out there that they need some clicks or what's going on, but like the hate and the criticism, I just feel like is a little unwarranted and a little bit random. I don't know, which is
well, yeah. And then, I mean, you look at the buzz around camp last year, and it was that JJ McCarthy was going to win the job over Sam Darnold. That's why it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's why, like I said, I think it's all just they need something to talk about, and it's the easy one to pick on coming off of injury.
For sure. I think me and you agree. It's going to be fine. Just let these practices develop. Let's see him Saturday, even before we have an opinion.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like he's going to play like a decent majority. So maybe he might get the first quarter or something like that, which I think would be awesome. I mean, if he gets the whole first half, it'd be really interesting to see how that goes, because we haven't seen him in live action since the Raiders game pretty much a year ago. So something to really look forward to. Tune in on Saturday, 3:00. Just watch how he does, how he manages the offense, how his accuracy is. If he's taking care of the football, just focus on the little things, because that's all, I guarantee you, that's all Kevin O'Connell and this offense is focusing on right now. Just do the little things. Like we said with Caleb Williams, don't try to be the superhero every single play. You're going to get yourself in trouble. Just let the game come to you. And I feel like he's been doing a decent job of that so far.
Yeah, I agree. I think Saturday is going to be a big test. I was happy to hear that he was going to get a lot of reps in that first preseason matchup. I think it's going to do him well. It's going to help him progress even more. Yep. And I honestly, I hope to see a lot of Brosmer too, to get off the subject a little bit. I'd like to see Brosmer. He's been looking good in camp too.
Yep, I could see them doing, like, depending on how much McCarthy plays. Say McCarthy gets the first quarter, Howell maybe gets the second quarter and into the third quarter. I mean, do we even need to see much of like Brett Rippon? Like, I don't feel like we do. I mean, maybe
I think we know what we're getting with Brett Rippon.
Yeah, maybe give him a few series, but I think Brosmer deserves like a quarter and a half at least, just to see what he's got. Because I think he's got the ability to be a long-term backup in this league.
Yeah.
So I feel like, give him some run. Obviously, Howell needs the run because he hasn't been in this offense very long. I don't need to see much of Brett Rippon. That's just my opinion. But so, all right, Austin, anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Sounds good. Really appreciate everyone tuning in. Just got over 300. I didn't expect a ton in the middle of the afternoon. But appreciate you guys tuning in again. Support us at all these links across the screen and our sponsors up top. But Austin, appreciate you hopping on. This is the NFC North quarterback rankings. Talked a little bit about JJ McCarthy, Jared Goff, Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, and kind of where all those guys sit and where they could be. Viking Central, God bless. See you guys in the next video.